Let's now head to France, where a sex abuse case continues to shake the country. A man is on trial for dragging his wife and recruiting dozens of men to rape her over nearly a decade. We know the details because the woman who survived the abuse, 72-year-old Gisele Pelicot, chose to make the trial and the horrific details open to the public, assuring the men accused of assaulting her can no longer hide behind anonymity. DW's Sonia Phalnikar reports.
A tribute to an unlikely heroine. It's what greets Gisele Pelicot each day in the courthouse in the southern city of Avignon. The 72-year-old, at the center of France's most significant mass rape case, has become a symbol of steely courage. She refused to stay anonymous and opted to make the trial public, revealing the dark details of her own horrific story. Her now ex-husband, Dominique Pelicot, drugged her and recruited men online to rape her in her own bed while comatose for nearly a decade. He filmed everything. Along with him, 50 men are in the dock. Gisele's lawyers have convinced the judge to make video recordings of the rapes available to the public and the media. With that, Gisele Pelicot has done something fundamental that few have done before. She's pushed the humiliation that rape victims usually struggle with onto the abusers, making sure the world knows who the perpetrators are and what they did. Shame, she and her lawyers say, has to change sides. It's made her a feminist icon. At a demonstration in Paris against sexual violence, Gisele Pelicot is a big talking point. Many hope she will help lead change.
Gisele Pelicot is making history. I really admire her. I think she's extremely brave and with all the horrors that have happened to her. So I hope it's going to change the French system, which is very, very patriarchal.
What I find interesting about Gisele Pelicot's public trial is the fact that since the trial is public, it shines a light on the questions thrown up. What are we doing right now to better educate the boys of today who will become the men of tomorrow?
But not everyone is hopeful that men are getting the message.
I think we have a very long way to go until men change their behaviour. The way the media is covering the Pelicot trial, they still find a lot of excuses for men. On social media, since the Pelicot affair, the hashtag #NotAllMen is everywhere. They should join our fight, be with us, and question themselves.
The majority of men speak of the fact that not all men are like that. You can't say that all men will rape or are rapists. That's not the point. We're not accusing all men of raping. We're saying that there's a systemic problem in France of masculinity, toxic masculinity.
But things are slowly changing. Gisele Pelicot's case has already achieved a few things. More than 200 men in public life recently co-authored an open letter in a French newspaper talking about toxic masculinity, rape, and taking responsibility. And her case has also opened up a broader conversation about the legal definition of rape, with the Justice Minister saying he wants to change the law and add the so far absent notion of consent into France's criminal code. And Gisele Pelicot's bravery is already having an effect, with a decent number of men showing up at the Paris rally to signal their support.
Now, DW's Sonia Phalnikar wrote that report and joins us now from Paris. Hello, Sonia. As you said in the report, this case is receiving a lot of attention. What impact has Gisele Pelicot had on the French society overall?
Well, Eddie, the people I spoke to at that demonstration in Paris yesterday told me that, by essentially waiving her right to anonymity, which is usually granted in rape cases, and by going public, Gisele Pelicot has really kind of shifted our usual perception of rape. She has, for one, drawn awareness to this widespread phenomenon of drugging and sexual abuse and rape, which is called chemical submission. In France, activists I spoke to yesterday say she has also kind of demolished this idea, the stereotype of a so-called monster rapist, the notion that, rapes are only carried out by strangers. They say her case highlights the dangers that women face in their own homes, within their own marriages, within their own relationships. And one activist I spoke to at this demonstration yesterday told me that the reason that this case has resonated so much with so many people in France is that Gisèle Pelicot has taken a stand, not just for herself, but for all women. She's dedicated her fight to all victims of sexual violence, and that by doing that, she's really gone beyond, her own personal story, and that has led to this kind of huge reckoning now in France.
Right. Look, as a man, what I also found very important is that more and more men are showing up in the demonstrations. Is this a turning point in the attitudes also among men?
Well, this case has certainly ignited a lot of debate here in France about masculinity and consent. It's raised questions about things like, online chat rooms, pornography, the extent of sexual violence. Activists say, Gisèle Pelicot's insistence on transparency in her case, which has opened the door to all kinds of intimate details about her own horrific story, that has led to a kind of educated, informed conversation around consent. And they say all this has led to a shift, even though it's quite small among some men. There are over 200 high-profile men who published this open letter recently in a French newspaper in support of Gisèle Pelicot, talking about things like male behavior, about the need to take accountability for rape, about the objectification of women's bodies, the need to stop perpetuating what they call a boys' club. So there is certainly a bit of change, but activists caution this is really not a widespread phenomenon, but it certainly points to a growing awareness, at least among a section of men.
Right, a step in the right directions. Sonia Phalnikar in Paris, thank you.
Thank you.